Hi guys, Al Smith here. Tonight we're going to have a lesson on overcalls. This particular lesson is based on a book by Mike Lawrence. He's kind of the expert on overcalls. The book is called The Complete Book on Overcalls, and it's published by Webster Point Press. This is what it looks like. Okay, and we all kind of call it the Bible on overcalls. So this particular course is both for the beginner and the more advanced player. Okay, I'm going to get into some fairly sophisticated things. My belief in terms of lessons is to give you as much of it, information on the topic as possible, and that let you use as much of it as you want as you progress. So instead of just giving you, let's say, level 1, I'm going to give you level 1, level 2, and level 3. So let's go ahead and get started. We will do a shark bridge set of sample hands at the end of this, and we'll if you haven't done that before, I'll have to give you a little bit of a tutorial. Okay, the overcall is the most common form of competition. Okay, one of the things I can guarantee is if you don't compete, let's see, we've got somebody that raised his hand. Let's see. Mike, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just a little confused. I thought this was the course on the convention cards. I thought that was meeting on Tuesday evenings.
No, this course is on overcalls.
Well, when is that? I thought there was going to be like a regular convention card thing over the course of the year.
No, well, that is for the standard American yellow card.
Yeah.
Okay, and the standard American yellow card, I'll put this in context for everybody, is the recommended set of conventions that should be used to become what I would call a high performance intermediate player. Okay, instead of so there's in terms of there's so there's a whole set of conventions and that are recommended to be used to get to what I call the intermediate level. Okay, and actually there's 28 of them, and that's what's called the standard American yellow card yellow convention card. Okay, and so what this is the first lesson in that series. Okay, the entire set of lessons are detailed on the web page on our web page that's listed as se Carolina Academy. And it shows a pictorial of what those lessons are. And that's what I went through in the overview about 2 weeks ago. Does that answer your question, Mike?
So this is the course.
Yes, this is the course.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay. So, and it's now the lessons are also available on a pre-recorded basis. There's about 20 of them that are available right now, or 22. And that's so that if you're more ambitious and want to push faster than what I'm going to do them live online, you can do them that way too.
Right, but this one we get to do the shark. So
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you.
Right. So, and this particular set of lessons is based on the assumption that you have familiar with the basics of the standard American bidding system, and that you probably have taken a beginner bridge course. The beginner bridge course that I've taught is available online also, both on YouTube and on the club website. So if you need to go back and review any of those things or want to do those are available for you to use to do at any time at your own discretion. Okay, so we're building on that particular course, and that only addressed non-competitive bidding. So what we're going to get into today is the first lesson on competitive bidding, and that's called overcalls. And it's the most common form of competition. Okay, and the opponents have opened. So let's just take a quick look at some of the things. Here's in terms of the bidding sequence. Okay, in this first example, the opponents have opened one diamond. So in terms of an overcall, it would be you or your partner sitting in second seat, bidding one spade. That's called an overcall when you're entering the auction when somebody else has already bid. Okay, now what I wanted to point out too is the overcall is seat independent. So in the second example, it's past the third person in the third seat, the opponent in the third seat opens one diamond, and you or your partner open one spade. That's also called an overcall. The reason I'm stressing this is the person that makes that bid is called the overcaller. The name is, it relates to the person on the opposing team that makes the first bid after the other team opens. So, that can get confusing because a lot of times the names are related to the particular seat, but the person that makes that first bid on the opposing team is called the overcall. Okay, and the overcall can also be done after you've already passed. Just because you passed the first time doesn't mean that you can't bid the next time. Okay, and that actually becomes a very informative bid because what it says, hey, I wasn't strong enough to do it the first time, but I'm really close. Was almost strong enough to do it when you bid it on the second time. So in this example here, we'll see that the person in the first seat passes. Then the person in the second seat opens with one club. That's going to be the opener. And then the person in the third seat, your partner, passes, and the responder in the fourth seat bids one spade. You can now overcall two hearts. What does that say? It says, hey, I wasn't strong enough to open one heart, but I'm strong enough to bid two hearts. And it's going to say I've got 5+ hearts and 10 to 11 points, because if you were a little bit stronger, you were going to open one heart. So it gives a lot of information based upon when the overcall is done and by whom. So it's not only seat independent, it also can be done after a pass. Okay, and you can also overcall one no trump. So in this first example here, the opponent opens one heart, and then you or your partner that's sitting in second seat overcalls one no trump. Now, the one no trump overcall is actually more specific and more informative than the one no trump open. That's because the one no trump overcall has the same point level requirement of 15 to 17, but also tells your partner that you've got a blocker and maybe two blockers in the suit that the opponent bids. So you can see the overcall is really a versatile tool. Okay, let's take a look at the one level overcall requirements. And let me stress here the words one level. Okay, what that means is the overcall is going to occur at the one level. It's going to be one that if they open one club, there'll be one diamond, there'll be one of something. So that's what we have to distinguish between the one level, two level, and three level. Okay, so when you're going to make an overcall, if the underlying assumption is that you've got a 5+ card suit. Now, does that have to be a fantastic suit? No, you prefer it to be, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, at the one level, it can be fairly weak. Okay, and this really becomes part of your partnership agreements too, because I know some people that will say, okay, we're only going to overcall if we've got a quality suit of at least the ace or the king in the suit. Other people will say that they'll do it weak. They'll do a weak overcall without any high card points in the suit if they have enough points in the rest of their hand. So it's something you want to talk about with your partner and decide so you can have common expectations of what the bid means. Okay, what I suggest is that you always try to have at least 2+ high card points in the suit. Now, what happens when you overcall? If the opponents take the bid and your partner has the opening lead, your partner is generally going to lead the suit that you bid. So it'd be very nice if you had something in that suit in which you might take a trick with it. So to begin with, you want it to be at least a 5-card suit. There are situations where you might overcall with a 4-card suit, but that's kind of an advanced capability, and I'll let that be something that you can discover in the future. Generally, you only do that when you have 3 of the top 5 honors in that particular suit if you only have a 4-card suit. But enough said about that. So you want to have a 5+ card suit and have what I could call a minimally reasonable suit in terms of 2 high card points. Okay, because a lot of times you're actually looking for a suit fit with your partner that might be for a potential sacrifice, not necessarily a bid you're going to make. Okay, now in terms of points, what you're going to want to have is between 8 and 17 length points. Okay, you really don't want to start overcalling with 6 or 7 points, especially if you're vulnerable, but between 8 and 17 points. Why is it capped at 17 points? Because we use the takeout double, which is the subject of the next lesson, to show a strong overcall, a hand with a good suit and 18+ points. And I also recommend and use the losing trick count system, the 2, 3, 4 losing trick count system. Okay, there's a separate video under basics associated with that if you're not familiar with it. Okay, and what the 2, 3, 4 system does is gives you a means of determining what level it's safe for you to bid to or to force your partner to bid to based upon the shape and points in your hand and vulnerability. Okay, remember that we have really 3 different types of vulnerability. Favorable vulnerability, where we're not vulnerable and they are. Equal vulnerability, either not vulnerable versus not vulnerable, or vulnerable versus vulnerable. And unfavorable vulnerability, where we're vulnerable and the opponents aren't. And we call that unfavorable because it exposes us to a lot higher degree of risk. So in order to bid or to overcall, we want our hands to have a 2, 3, 4 result that is greater or equal to 1. I think I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Okay, now the 2-level overcall occurs when you can't mention your suit at the 1 level. Okay, how this differs is that instead of it being potentially a fairly weak suit, you want it to be a reasonably good suit. Okay, with probably at least 3 hard card points, with a queen jack, an ace king, an ace queen, something like that in. But it's going to be a 5+ card suit, and you're going to need to have between 12 and 17 length points. Now, in essence, what you're looking to have, if you're going to make a 2-level overcall, is an opening hand with a quality, a reasonable 5+ suit. So, and in this case, the 2, 3, 4 result would be greater or equal to 2. Okay, at 3-level overcall, this happens when the opponents preempt. And for example, if they open a weak 2, and we haven't covered that yet, but there are preempts where people will open like 2 spades. That is not a strong bid, but it's preemptive in nature. Now to enter the auction, you have to bid at the 3 level. So you want to have at least a good 5+ card suit, preferably 6 if you're going to enter the auction at the 3 level, and you're going to want to have 15+ length points. So you can see the level that you come into the auction at on a competitive basis dictates the length of the suit, the quality of the suit, and number of points that you should have. And the points, and I look at points and the 2, 3, 4 results as interchangeable. Okay, now for one no trump overcall, okay, it's in essence the same as opening one no trump, except you're going to have a blocker in the opponent's suit. Okay, so it's actually more descriptive of your hand in terms of placing the points, because you are telling your partner that you have at least one blocker in the opponent's fifth suit, and preferably two. It would be nice, but you don't need to, but at least one. Okay, and now if you have more points than the 17 length points or the 18 high card points, there is a way of showing those very strong hands in the overcall position by bidding a takeout double. And that's in the next lesson. So it's part of the takeout double. The takeout double really has two different personalities. One that's asking your partner to bid, and one where you're going to tell your partner you've got a really strong hand. So that's a lesson for another day. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of examples here and determine whether we should overcall or not. So in this first example, we're going to note that we're not vulnerable versus not vulnerable. Why is that important? Because we have to determine the level of risks associated to entering the auction. So the opponent opened one diamond, and we're sitting here in the second seat, and we're going to we'll call the overcall seat. And this is our hand. We've got what we're going to do. First of all, we're going to count the number of losers that we have, and we want to get in the habit of doing this so that we can quantify the hand based upon its shape, points, and the vulnerability. So we've got two losers in clubs, because we're going to count we've got two losers in clubs, two in hearts, two in diamonds, one in hearts, and one in spades. So the way that we calculate this is we take 7 minus the number of losers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we add to it what we call the V factor, which is the vulnerability factor. And if for equal vulnerability, it's 3. For unfavorable vulnerability is 2, and for favorable vulnerability is 4. Okay, and we do this little formula, and what it will do is tell us the level that we can safely bid to or force our partner to bid to. We use this on the first bid just to determine what it's safe to do. And this becomes really important when we get into shape-based hands like unusual, no trump, and Michaels, and some of these other things that are the hand strength is based upon its shape, not the number of points. So to make a one level overcall, the 2, 3, 4 results got to be greater than or equal to 1. 4 is obviously greater than 1. So it's going to be safe to do an overcall. Now, let's take a look at the points. We've got 14 high card points, and we get 1 for the 5th heart. That's a length point. That gives us 15 length points. So how many points does it take to do an overcall? 8. So we've got plenty of points. Now, remember, it's 8 to 17. So we're satisfied the 2, 3, 4 requirement. We've satisfied the number of points. Now, so we've got 8 plus, and we've got a good 5 plus card suit. Now this is a really good suit because we've got ace, the queen, jack, and 10. The only thing we're missing is the king. And by the way, we're only missing the 9 too. That 8 becomes a nice card to have in relationship to 9 because that doesn't surround if the right-hand opponent has the 9. Okay, so we've got plenty of points, and we've got a good suit and everything else. So we satisfy the requirement, and we're going to overcall 1 heart. Okay, now and notice that 15 is a lot more than 8. That's fine. Remember, the overcall is defining a point range of 8 to 17. All right. The later bids after the overcall are where you get to quantify more succinctly the actual number of points that you have. Let's look at this second example here. It's pretty much the same. The only thing that has changed is the vulnerability. Now, the number of points has changed a little bit too. So, do we have a good suit? Yeah, we do. We've got 6 clubs. Okay, so let's count determine the 2, 3, 4. We have no losers in clubs because we have the ace, king, queen. We only count losers that aren't the ace, king, queen that are in the top 3 cards. So we have 2 losers in diamonds, 2 losers in hearts, and 2 losers in spades. So we have 6 losers. So we have 7 minus 6. And now the B factor, if we have unfavorable vulnerability, is 2. So it says with this particular hand, it would be safe to bid to the 3 level. So since we're only looking at bidding at the 2 level, because we're looking at 2 clubs, that's the 2 level, it would be safe to bid according to 2, 3, 4. Now we look at points. We've got 15 again, 13 high card points, 2 length points, and that gives us 15 length points. Now, okay, so in order to make a overcall at the 2 level, what we said we need to have is 12 plus length points and a good 5 plus card suit. So the answer to the requirements is yes, indeed, we can do an overcall. So we're going to bid 2 clubs as an overcall. Now let's take a look at another example here. Okay, in this one, it's vulnerable versus vulnerable. Okay, and again, the opponents opened 1 diamond. All right, now let's calculate the 2, 3, 4 again. We've got 2 losers in clubs, 1 loser in diamonds, 1 loser in hearts because of the top 3, the ace, queen count as winners. We have 1 loser, and we have 2 losers in spades. So again, we have 7 minus 6 plus 3. With equal vulnerability, the B factor is 3, just like it is. Not vulnerable, it's 3. Vulnerable, it's 3. So it says, hey, it's plenty safe for us to overcall at the 1 level. Now, let's take a look at the points. We've got 13 length points. So we're plenty strong enough. That's greater than 8. It's less than 18, less than or equal to 17. So we have now 2 good 5 plus card suits. Okay, now when you've got 2 good 5 card or 2 5 card suits, I'll leave the word good out. Okay, we have 2 5 card suits. Just like when you're making an opening bid, you're going to bid the higher ranking suit first. Even if this was ace, king, queen, jack, 10 of hearts, and the spades were 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, we would still bid the spades first, because what we're going to do is we're going to bid the higher ranking suit with equal number, and then we're going to bid the lower ranking suit next. Let me turn my phone off.
Hi, how are you? How are you feeling?
Okay, so that we can, using the bidding system structure, we can give our partner the opportunity to select which suit is best for them at the lowest possible level. Okay, let's look at another example here. Now we've got unfavorable vulnerability again. We're vulnerable, the opponents aren't. Okay, and we've got not such a hot hand this time. We've got a fairly nice 5 card suit, the king, queen, 9, 8, 3 of spades. So let's calculate the 2, 3, 4. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 losers. Okay, so we've got 7, which is the level, minus 9 losers, plus 2, it says 0. What the 0 says is we are incapable of bidding at the 1 level. It's too risky to overcall with this particular hand. Okay, so we've only got 6 length points, but we have met the requirement in terms of the 5 plus card suit, but we don't have the 8 plus length point. And 2, 3, 4 says it's only, we're not capable of bidding at the 1 level. Okay, so what we're going to do on this hand is pass. All right, now let's take a look at this hand. Okay, we're vulnerable versus vulnerable. We'll calculate 2, 3, 4 again. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losers because it's equal vulnerability to B factors 3. It says this hand, we're safe to bid at the 3 level with our initial bid up to the 3 level. Okay, just because it's up to the 3 level doesn't mean we're going to bid to the 3 level. We're going to bid at the level that's most appropriate to describe our hand. All we're trying to do is quantify whether it's safe to bid or not. Okay, in terms of points, we've got 16 high card points. This looks like a pretty standard no trump hand. We've got 3 spades, we've got 3, 4, 3, 3. So we've got a flat hand here. All right, now the opponent's bid a club. So we've got a club blocker, and we do have our points are in the range of 15 to 18. So we can make a 1 no trump overcall. Okay, and as I said, this is more descriptive than a 1 no trump open because it tells your partner and guarantees your partner that you have a club blocker. In this case, we got the ace. Pretty good. Let's look at this example. In this one, we're vulnerable versus not vulnerable. It's unfavorable vulnerability. So the B factor is going to be 2. Okay, it looks pretty much the same. We go through the process and it says we're safe to open at the 2 up to the 2 level using the 2, 3, 4 result. And we've got 15 high card points, so it fits within the no trump range, but we do not have a blocker in the club suit. So we can't bid 1 no trump as an overcall because the 1 no trump overcall guarantees that we're going to have a blocker in the opponent bid suit. Now we got another problem with this hand. We don't have a 5+ card suit. So what are we supposed to do? Well, as of right now, we would pass, but I'll give you a little bit of hint. This has to do with what I call the next capability is we use a takeout double. And that's in the next lesson. Okay, and that allows you to ask your partner to bid when you've got sufficient points, but not an actual suit to bid yourself. So just wanted to introduce that concept to you very briefly. Okay, now what is the advancer bid after an overcall? Now, this is what I'm going to go through here is really the latest and the greatest as it relates to the advancer response system. Now, the advancer is the overcaller's partner. Everybody's got to have a name. So the partner of the overcaller is called the advancer. Okay, and what we're going to do to assume, to begin with, is that the responder, that's partner of the opener, passed. So we've got the situation here of 1 diamond as an example. Your partner overcalled 1 spade, the responder passed. Now you're the advancer, and it's your turn to bid. Okay, now let's start to define the terms here. Now, the advancer uses the number of cards in the suit and distribution points, and not 2, 3, 4. Only the initial bidder, the opener, and the responder use 2, 3, 4. Once you're pretty much done with using 2, 3, 4 after the initial bids by the opener and the overcaller. Okay, the responder and the advancer do not use 2, 3, 4, but they're going to use the number of cards in terms of the fit in the suits and a number of distribution points or length points. Okay, now advancer bids with fit in a 1 level overcall suit. Now, what this says is your partner overcalled 1 spade, right? So what's a fit? A fit would be having 3 spades or 4 or 5 spades. Okay, because this was a 1 level. Okay, now if you've got 3 cards, and really this is really something that's come out of in his second version of this book, is that it provides a mechanism for clearly distinguishing between having 3 card support for your partner and 4+ card support for your partner. If you've got exactly 3 card fit in your partner, the overcaller suit, here's the progression of bids that you're going to make. If you've got 0 to 6 distribution points, you're going to pass. Okay, you're too weak to respond. So the situation here is you've got 1 diamond, 1 spade, pass. You're going to pass with 0 to 6. Okay, if you've got 7 to 9 distribution points and 3 cards support, what you're going to do is raise your partner's bid 1 level. So 1 spade, raise it 1 level, you go to 2 spades. It says, hey partner, I've got 3 cards for you, and I've got 7 to 9 distribution points. Okay, now, if you've got 10 plus, what you're going to do is make a Q bid. A Q bid is when you're bidding the opponent's suit. It doesn't say anything about your opponent's suit because it kind of says only a crazy person would bid the same suit that the opponents have bid. So since we're not crazy, what we're going to do is use the bidding of the opponent's bid suit as a mechanism to send a special message. In this one, what we're saying is when it goes 1 spade, 2 diamonds, what the advancer is saying, hey, I've got 3 card support and 10 plus distribution points. I'm going to assume that you know how to count just distribution points. Okay, now, so that's the situation when you've got 3 card support. So what do you do when you have 4 card or more cards in the overcaller suit? Well, what we want to do is we want the bidding system to allow us to accurately describe to our partner the range of points we have and the number of cards we have supporting our partner, the overcaller suit. So again, if you've got 0 to 6 points, it's got a really weak hand. However, this time you're not going to pass. There's this thing called the law of total tricks. I won't get into it, but what it in essence boils down to, it says, even though that you and your partner might be relatively weak together, you've got probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 points together, that you should be able to make the level equal to the number of cards you have in the suit. So if you've got 9, subtract 6, that says you should actually be able to make 3 spades. So if you've got a really weak hand and your partner has indicated that they have 5 plus cards in the suit, and you have 4 plus cards in the suit, it doesn't leave very many for the opponent. So you're going to have at least a 9 plus card bid. So instead of just meekly passing, the advancer response convention says is you're going to, in essence, make a preemptive jump raise of your partner, the overcaller's bid suit. So to show that you've got 4 plus card support, but only 0 to 6 points, you're going to jump. So in this example, you go from 1 spade to 3 spades and says, hey, I'm weak, but I've got 4 plus cards in your suit. Do you expect to make the bid? Not necessarily. What you're trying to do is get in the face of the opponents and obstruct them from finding a potential game contract. Many, many times you're going to make the contract because it's a distributional hand. If you and your partner have a fit of 9 plus cards, odds are the opponents have a fit of 9 plus cards. Okay, and you don't want them to find it. So that's why this preemptive bid comes into play with a really weak hand. All right, now, so that takes care of the really weak situation. Now let's take a look at the rest of this hierarchy in terms of points. With 7 to 9 distribution points and 4 plus card fit in the overcaller suit, what you're going to do is called what is jump Q bid. Okay. And the jump Q bid would be jumping to 3 diamonds. You can see that with the weaker hands, you're actually jumping to higher level. And in this case, that extends the whole concept of being obstructive and preempting the opponents. So the 1 diamond, 1 spade, and the jump to 3 diamonds says, hey, partner, I've got 4 plus cards in spades supporting you, and I've got 7 to 9 distribution points. Okay, now remember, distribution points you count, you get extra points for singletons, doubletons, singletons, and voids. So this isn't high card points. This is the distributional points. So you're really you're telling your partner very explicitly how many cards support you have and how many points you have. So one diamond, one spade, jumping to 3 diamonds says that you have 4 plus card support and 7 to 9 points. All right, now for the final nail in I'll call it the proverbial advancer response system coffin, we have the situation where you've got 4 plus cards and 10 plus points. Okay, and what we're going to do here is we're going to use 2 no trump as an artificial bid. Okay, and what the 2 no trump bid says in this situation, because you're bypassing showing another suit and showing direct support, is saying, hey partner, I've got 4 plus cards in your suit and 10 plus points. This says nothing about wanting to play the contract in no trump. What it does set up is a mechanism so that you can tell your partner at the lowest possible conventional level that you've got 4 plus card support and 10 plus points, so you leave as much room as possible to in the auction to further explore where the contract should be at. Now, what you're going to find out over time as you play against other people is that many people do not understand this second part of the advancer response, the advancer bid system after the partner opens overcalls. So this is fairly advanced. Okay, it'll take you a while to get used to it, but it is critical to understand and really, really a nice way to be able to communicate succinctly with your partner. Okay, now advancer bids with 3 plus bid in a 2 plus level overcall suit. Now, remember, the overcall here occurred at the 1 level. Here's where the overcall is occurring at the 2 level. Okay, because it's occurring at the 2 level, we don't have as much bidding room. Okay, here we have all of the bids at the 2 level and 3 level, up to 3 of our partners bid suit to describe the hand. Here we don't. With 0 to 6 points, we're going to pass. Okay, because with a 3 plus bid. Okay, now I should modify this a little bit too. If they're bidding at and one of the reasons here is your partner's saying they're stronger. Okay, some kind of equate this a little bit to hiding in the weeds also, because if you can buy the contract at the 2 level, because your partner by bidding at the 2 levels made it much more difficult for the opponents to continue the auction, you could always come back in with 0 to 6 points later and bid your partner's overcall suit at the 3 level. Okay, so in this example here, the opponents opened 1 spade. Okay, and your partner bid 2 hearts. Well, what can the opponents do? The opponents can either bid 2 spades or introduce a new suit at the 3 level. Okay, let them to tell you about their hand by passing and seeing what they're going to do. There are quite a few times where your partner may actually buy the contract at 2 hearts. You can always come back in later and bid 3 hearts. Okay, now, if you've got 7 to 9, what you're going to do is you're going to raise your partner's suit. And this is with 3 or more. Okay, the only place you can distinguish between a 3 card support and 4 plus card support is if the overcall occurs at the 1 level. So we're going to raise our partner's suit to 3 hearts with 7 to 9. And if we've got the 10 plus with 3 plus, what we're going to do is Q-bid our partner's suit. Many people play only this portion, and they ignore the 4 plus, and they apply it at both levels. So you can see how this works. All right, now try to create a graphic for you that kind of illustrates this for you guys or you ladies and gentlemen out there that are engineers like me or mathematicians, and some people just like pictures. I like pictures myself. Okay, so what we're going to say is your partner did a one-level overcall. This is the advancer bidding system chart. Got 3-card support. Okay, with 0 to 6, you're going to pass. With 7 to 9, you're going to raise. With 10 plus, you're going to do the Q bid. Okay, with 4-card support, what you can do, it was 0 to 6, you're going to with 0 to 6 with 4-card support, you should do a jump. I'm going to have to fix this graphic. You're going to have to do a jump Q bid. I mean, a jump raise. So let me write this down so I can fix it later. Gotta get a pin that works. 7, jump raise. Okay, we're going to do jump Q bid, and with 4 plus and 10 plus points, you're going to bid 2 no trump. So I'll fix this one to say, make this a jump raise. And this is pretty easy to follow and to use. Okay, now with 2 plus level overcall, it's the same type of structure. With 0 to 6, you're going to pass, raise, and use the Q bid to show 10 plus. Now this, remember, this is 3 plus. Okay, where if it's at one level, you can actually distinguish between having 3 and 4 plus card support. All right, well, let's take a look at some examples here of what the advancer should do. Okay, in this situation, the opponent opened 1 heart and our partner bid 1 spade. Our partner overcalled 1 spade and the responder passed. Now it's up to us. This is our hand. Okay, now what do we got here? Well, first of all, do we have a fit? Yeah, we do. Our partner said they've got 5 plus spades. We've got 3, so we've got 8 plus. So we know we have a fit. So we're going to get account distribution points. Okay, so we got 3, 4, 5 high card points. Now, since we've got a fit, we're not going to count length. We're going to count distribution. We get 3 for the singleton heart. So we have 8 distribution points. Okay, it's really critical to understand when you use length points, when you use distribution points, and when you use a combination of the two. And that'll take some time to get used to, but it's something you want to develop a good habit on, religiously apply. Okay, so you've got 8 distribution points. So can we do something with this? Yep, we can. We can bid. We've got a 3-card spade fit. We've got 7 to 9 distribution points. So we're strong enough to make a 1/1 raise. What we're going to do is bid 2 spades. And what that communicates in summary is right here. 3 plus 3-card fit, 7 to 9 distribution points. Okay, let's take a look at another example here. Now, the opener bid 1 heart, our partner overcalled a spade, and the responder raised the opener suit to 2 hearts. Now, the advancer can bid after the second opponent has also bid. It doesn't matter whether the responder bids or doesn't bid. I want to make that clear. Okay, do we have a fit? Yeah, we still have a fit here. We have the same hand. So we still have 8 distribution points. Okay, now, do we meet the requirements? Yeah, we've got 3-card support. We've got 7 to 9. So we're still going to bid 2 spades. Notice that even if in the first example, the responder passed, in the second case, the responder bid 2 hearts. Now, what's interesting about this example is the opponents, the evil opponents, have a fit in hearts. You guys have got a fit in spades. It's great to have a fit in the master suit. Spades is a master suit because it's 1 rank higher than hearts. So you're kind of in the catbird seat here by being able to bid 2 spades. Okay, let's look at this example here. Okay, our partner again has overcalled one spade. Okay, do we have a fit? Yeah, we do. We've got 3-card fit. Now, how many points do we have? We've got 4, 7, 8, 9. Okay, because we've got fit, we get to count distribution. So we've got 12 plus this, we've got 12 distribution points. So what we want to do is we want to tell our partner that we've got fit and at least 10 plus points. And the way we do that is we do that by bidding a Q bid. We're going to bid 2 hearts. Okay, and that Q bid says, hey partner, I've got 3-card fit and 10 plus distribution points. Okay, does this define a top end in regards to the advancer's hand in terms of the number of points? No, that's left to be shown in the second bid. All right, now let's take a look at another situation here where we've got 4-card support. 1 heart, we have partner overcalled a spade. Hey, we're really tickled about this because we've got 4 spades. However, we've got a pretty crappy hand. We've only got 2 high card points, 1 for each one of these jacks. And we do get 3 for this singleton in hearts. So we have 5 distribution points. Now, we'll kind of look at our hand and go, well, our partner's got 5 plus spades. I've got 4 spades, and the opener opened a heart. He's got at least 5 plus. Okay, odds are that they have a fit in hearts, probably 8 or 9 plus hearts between them, and that the opener's got a relatively strong hand. All right, now, what's our goal? Well, what we want to do is we want to keep the opener from bidding again if we can. Okay, we'd like to stick a cork in his mouth so he can't bid again. So what we're going to do, because we've got these 4-card support, even though we're weak, what we're going to do is we're going to make a preemptive raise and bid 3 spades. Now, you can see what that does to the opponents when the advancer bids 3 spades in this scenario. Okay, what can the opener do? Well, the opener's got to decide on only the information that he can see in his hand whether he's going to compete to the 4 level or not. You can see the value of how obstructive that preemptive raise is. All right, example number 5 is the example. We've got 4-card support again, and we've got 8 distribution points. So it falls into the category of 4-card fit with 7 to 9. So what are we going to bid here? Well, we're going to jump to 3 hearts. Okay, now you can see what that does to the opponents. What you've done is you've jumped in their suit to 3 hearts. Okay, and it's a jump Q bid because the jump is measured over the opener's bid, not the responder's bid. 3 hearts. Okay, what can the opener do? He can bid 4 hearts, but you've taken away the opener's ability to rebid the heart and say, hey, partner, I've got good hearts and I've got some extra values in my hand. By bidding 3 hearts, if they want to keep going forward, they have to now bid at the 4 level. Okay, now your partner, now note that Q bids are always forcing. So your partner is going to bid again. Don't worry about your partner passing because the 3 hearts is forcing. And it says, hey, partner, I've got 4 plus cards in your suit and 7 to 9 distribution points. So you're giving your partner a whole bunch of information that your partner can use to determine whether they want to sign off on 3 spades or they want to go to 4 spades. You know, if they've got a really nice hand, and you may have just given them enough information to tell them that they can safely bid and pursue a game contract by bidding 4 spades. Okay, so not only does this give your partner information, it also obstructs the opponents. Now, in this next example, we've got the 4-card support, but we've got 12 plus distribution points. Now I'm going to come down here. Okay, we're going to bid 2 no trump. Okay, now remember, two-no trump is an artificial bid, must be alerted. You got to go, well, two-no trump, if you look at this, is the lowest possible bid that you can make in relationship to the sequence that says, hey, partner, I've got a nice fit and I've got 10 plus points. Okay, so that preserves the maximum amount of bidding room for you and your partner to investigate the hand further. You can see that when you're strong, we're actually bidding lower. When we're weaker, we're bidding higher. So with our weakest situation, we're bidding 3 spades, and our next weaker is 3 hearts. And with the strong hand, we're bidding 2-no trump. What that does is preserve all the bids between 2-no trump and 3 spades for the overcaller to further describe his or her hand. So, that in essence, we really start to dissect the bidding system, shows how the structure of the bidding system is put together to allow you to maximize the amount of room, the bidding room, when you're strong, and minimize the amount of bidding room available to the opponents when you're weaker. Really a cool concept. All right. Now, those all are situations where the advancer has a fit in the overcaller suit. Okay. Well, what do you do if the advancer has a reasonable hand and no fit? Well, well, I'm going to talk about briefly here. I'm going to sneeze in a second. Oh dear. Okay. Okay. Now the advancer doesn't have to meet. There we go. 2, 3, 4, because the overcaller already did. The overcaller is the one who's quantified his or her hand, saying, hey, it's safe to bid to this particular level. Okay. So the advancer gets to use that meeting that requirement without having to worry about it. All right. Now, the advancer is going to want to, in essence, pretend that they are the overcaller. So in order to respond to suit, they're going to want to have a 5+ card suit. Okay, and if they can bid a new suit at the 1 level, they're in essence going to meet the same requirements as the overcaller. 5+ card suit, 8+ lane points. Okay, so in essence, then that together they have at least 16+ points. So in this example here, the opener bid a diamond, your partner, the overcaller, bid a heart, the responder passed, and you can bid 1 spade with 5+ spades and 8+ lane points. Okay, that's a 1 level. Okay, if you're going to do it to 2 level, okay, you can actually do it with 10 points. Okay, in this example, we have to call it the 2 level. Now, why is we using 10 points where we're saying a 2-level overcall requires 12 points? Well, because we already know our partner has 8. When you're making the direct seat is making the overcall, they don't know whether their partner has anything or not. So it's a process of building on information that you already obtained from your partner. Okay. Right now, if you're going to jump in this new suit, now you could actually jump in a new suit. Okay, and in this example, it goes 1 diamond, 1 spade passed, and then you as the advancer jumps in a new suit for 3 clubs. We're not Q bidding, okay, we're bidding a new suit. Remember, Q bids are when you bid the opponent's suit. Okay, bid 3 clubs. What this is a special bid. And it says, hey, partner, I do not have support for your suit. I've got a 6+ card suit, a rebiddable, we call a rebiddable suit. It's going to be a good suit, and 10 to 11 lane points. Okay, so it's a special bid to say, hey, this is what I got. This is the only place I really want to play. If you've got a fit in my suit, we might have more and we can go further. Otherwise, pass. All right. Now, the last place you can go is in no trump. Okay, you don't have a fit for your partner. You don't have your own 5+ card suit, but you still have the ability to bid no trump. Okay, and it's no fit and no suit, and you've got 11 to 14 high card points. Notice this is 11 to 14. This is a pretty stringent requirement. Okay, and you've got at least one blocker in the opponent bid suit, preferably two, but you've got at least one. Remember that Overcaller promised only 8+ points. That's why this is higher. Okay, if your partner, if you were the responder and your partner opened one of a suit, okay, you can respond one no trump with 6 to 9, but your partner has said they've got 13+ versus the overcaller saying they've got 8+. What's the difference? 5 points. So instead of it being 6 to 9, it's 11 to 14. So you can see how the combination of points between the two hands dictates the structure of the bidding system. Okay. Now, also remember that the opener is sitting behind the advancer. Okay, so when you're during the play of the hand, the opener gets to play after the advancer. So if the opener has high cards in the advancer's suit or behind the advancer's high card suits, the advancer's high cards are going to be worth less. So that's why we have to be more conservative in terms of the point range for showing one no trump after our partner, the overcaller, has overcalled. Okay. Now, 2 blockers in the opener's suit are better than 1. Now, the other thing to note is that if you are the declarer, you bid no trump as the advancer, and you are the declarer, the good news is the opener is going to make the opener lead, and they're going to lead to your hand. So if you have blockers in the opener's suit, you can pretty well count on those being winners. Okay, now, what you also want to note is that in order to bid and play in no trump, you generally want to have at least half the points, 20 of the 40 high card points. So that's, this is where how the points kind of mesh together to determine what you want to do. Okay, now there is a way of showing that you have a stronger balanced hand without the 5 card suit. Bid double, then bid no trump with no fit and no suit if you've got 15+ high card points. Now, remember that the opener showed 13+ points. You got 15+, that's 28. And if your partner has shown 8+, that's 36. So it means that your right-hand opponent doesn't have much. So what you're trying to do is help your partner understand, as well as yourself understand, where the points are and where the potential risks are. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of examples of what should the advancer bid in these situations. Okay, and this is really what the opener's second bid is going to do. I've got to fix a couple of editorial things on this. I'll repost this later today, and you can download the modified version if you want. Okay, in this one, well, no, let me think for a second. What do I have this in here? Do I have it in here again? I don't know. Let's see. Let's go through this and see if I've duplicated this or not. Okay, it's the opener opened 1 heart, your partner overcalls 1 spade. What do you, I see what we want to do here. These are the no fit examples. I'll put something in with respect to no fit. Okay, so what do we want to do in these situations? Do we have a fit in our partner's suit? No, we don't. Okay, now let's take a look at the number of points that we have. Okay, we have 4, 6, 9, 10, and we've got 10 high card points, 2 length points, so we've got 12 length points. So in order to bid, we have to bid at the 2 level if we want to show our diamonds. Well, we've got the 5+ card suit, Actually, we have a 6-card suit, and it's a nice suit. So we definitely are interested in showing those diamonds. Now, do we have enough points? Yeah, we do. Okay, we've got more than the required 10 plus points. So we're going to go ahead and show our partner what? Because we've got 10 to 11, or in the 12-point range here, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to jump to 3 diamonds. We have no interest in playing in spades, and we want to tell our partner that. But we've got 10 plus points. We've got 10 to 11 points. We've got a 6-card suit. So what we're going to do is we could jump to 3 diamonds. Remember, we talked about this on the previous page. Okay, and what this says very specifically, it says, I've got a nice diamond suit. I've got at least 6 of them, and I don't like your suit, and I got 10 to 11 points. Now, if you can use that information to determine we have a chance for game, 3 no trump or 5 diamonds, then you can proceed in continuing the auction. If not, pass. And let's look at the second example here. Here, our partner, the Open One Club, our partner overcalled 1 diamond. What are we going to do here? Well, let's look at it in terms of number of points. Well, we've got really 2 good things here going on. We've got a nice spade suit. And by the way, we have a fit in diamonds. Our partner overcalled the diamonds. He's saying he's got 5 plus diamonds. We've got 3, that's 8. That's a golden fit. So we get to count our hands in 2 ways. We get to count our hands in terms of the length points to determine if we can show our spades, and we get to count our points in terms of distribution points in relationship to our fit in diamonds. Now, we do have a diamond fit. We do have a good spades. Now, what do we want to tell our partner? Well, what we want to do is we want to bid 1 spade, because there's a distinct possibility, not necessarily real high probable, but a possibility that our partner has 3 spades. If our partner has 3 spades, we'd have 8 spades. We know we've got 8 diamonds. Which suit would we rather be in? We'd rather be in spades. Why would we rather be in spades? Well, because the trick value for a major is 30 points, and the trick value for a minor is only 20 points. So the trick value of the major is 50% more than a minor. So we also, if we end up having a nice fit and sufficient points between us, what's the level of game in spades? It's 4 spades requiring 10 tricks. In diamonds, it's 11 tricks. 11 tricks is a lot harder to make than 10. So the bidding system always gives preference to finding the fit in the major. We can always come back and support our partner's diamonds later if our partner doesn't have support for us in spades. So we get a twofer here. Not only do we get to tell our partner about our spades, but we can tell our partner later about our diamond fit. Let's look at this example here. Same example, okay? Now, again, we have, for the diamond fit, we have 8 distribution points, and we only have 6 length points. Now, I put this together because typically you want to have 8 plus length points to show another suit, 5 plus card suit at the 1 level. But in the case of a major, since you can always come back and support the diamonds later, we're going to treat the majors as an exception. And we're going to go ahead and show those 5 spades because, again, our partner has 3 spades. We're really, really interested in playing in spades over the diamonds because it's worth a lot more points. And remember, the ultimate goal of every hand is to get the best score, not make the contract, but get the best score. So going down many times, you can get a better score than letting the opponents make the contract. All right, let's look at example number 4. Okay, in this one, the opponent opened 1 heart, our partner overcalled 1 spade. All right, so now what? Well, let's look what we've got. Do we have support for our partner in spades? Nope, we've only got 2 of them. That's not support. We need to have at least 3. Okay, do we have a 5+ card suit? Nope. We've got 4 hearts and 4 clubs. But let's look at how many points we've got. 11 high card points. Okay, now the opponent's bid hearts, and we've got the king, queen. So we have 2 probable stoppers. Remember, the opponent over here to our left bid the hearts. If we're a no trump and they leave hearts, they're going to come around the table to us. We're probably going to have 2 stoppers in hearts. Okay, so we've got enough points that actually we want to bid again, but we pretty much the same. Okay, we have 11 high card points again. We don't have a fit for our partner spades. Now, we only have 1 blocker here. Now, we're in a really precarious situation because if our right-hand opponent gets into the lead and leads the hearts, we don't necessarily have a blocker in hearts. We only have a blocker in hearts if our left-hand opponent leads heart, and then we only have 1. If they've got 5 or 6 hearts, let's say they've got 6, they knock out that king, they're going to be able to take 5 heart tricks. So, because we don't have, if we had a 4th spade here, a 4th heart, we might consider it. What we're going to do is pass, because it's too risky that the opponents can actually run 4 or 5, maybe even 6 heart tricks, because they're all sitting behind us. So you've got to take into consideration and refine your bridge judgment as to when you want to do it and when you don't want to do it. Okay, so that's the basic lesson on overcalls. What we've got now is we can go to the sharp bridge and explore that. Before we go there, what I want to do is just touch base with you and see if anybody has any questions before we go to sharp bridge. If you do, can go ahead and just press on your space bar and ask the question, or raise your hand. Okay, we've got, go on, Mike, unmute yourself. What's your question?
Would you go over how you count losers again?
Okay, instead of me going over that, well, okay, let me go over it briefly, but there is another video that's available. It goes through the 2, 3, 4 system. But in essence, boiling it down to its basics is to count the number of losers. You only look at the top 3 cards in the suit. Okay, and you count it as a loser if it's not an ace, king, or queen. Okay, so if you had just 3 cards, let's say the ace, king, and queen in a suit, it would have no losers. If you had the ace, king, and the deuce, it would have 1 loser. If you had the ace and the 3-2, you'd have 2 losers. And if you had, let's say, the 4-3-2 in that suit, it would count as 3 losers with only 3 cards in that particular suit. You can just ignore anything in any cards over above 3 cards in that suit. Now, there's one kind of weird one where you have a queen X doubleton. Sometimes, if you're feeling lucky, count it as 1 winner or as 1 loser. If you don't like it, count it as 2. It's kind of a toss-up. But there's another video that describes that in detail. That's part of the basic building blocks. Okay, so that's what my recommendation is there. Any other questions before we move on? Okay, let me stop recording.